If you're planning on going to the Equip Expo this year, I want to share with you the top 5 mistakes to avoid. I've made all 5 of these mistakes in previous years attending this trade show. And this year, Lord willing, it will be my 8th year attending the largest trade show in the lawn care and landscaping industry, the Equip Expo. So we're going to dive right into the list of top 10 mistakes. Now, this trade show, last year we had about 27,000 attendees in Louisville, Kentucky. Everything from lawn care equipment to power equipment to the softwares and technologies that help you run a lawn care landscaping business better. So it's the place to be if you're in the lawn care landscaping industry. And there'll be over 1,000 exhibitors there indoors, and then there's 30 acres outdoors where the latest and greatest equipment will be featured for you to test, demo, try out, all of that. It's a hands-on experience. So I'll share a little bit more about that later in the program. But if you are already planning on going to the show, here's some mistakes that I've made in the past that you should avoid. And we're going to get started with parking. So most people that go there drive a pickup truck. All right, it's a bunch of rednecks and a bunch of pickup trucks. And when I first started attending the Equip Expo, the parking was, I think it was $8 every time you went and you left. So if you went and then you went out to go get some Wendy's or whatever, and you came back, it was another $8. Well, anyway, I talked to Chris Kaiser, and we got, I don't want to say it was, I got it all done, but Chris Kaiser is the president of the Outdoor Power Equipment Institute. He's like, hey, what feedback do you have? How can we make the show better? And I was like, you got to stop nickel and diming us every time we come and go. And so they literally just wrote a check and paid the Kentucky Exposition Center to have no parking fees. So it's free parking. Now, with that being said, and thank you, Chris, and everybody for getting us free parking. Now, we've had that for several years. Now, when you go to the Equip Expo, though, most people will just type in Equip Expo or Kentucky Exposition Center in their GPS thing, and they'll go park in the south wing because that's the main parking lot. The problem isn't going there. You'll easily go through the gate, find your parking spot, and be walking into the expo happy camper. The problem is at 4:30, when tens of thousands of people are all leaving at the same time, and there's only a couple spots to get out of the actual south wing parking lot, it gets jammed up real fast. There's a whole bunch of pickup trucks and a bunch of hungry people, and it's 5 o'clock, and there's 5 o'clock traffic. It's bad. So there's actually, it's not a secret anymore because I've been telling y'all about it, but there's another parking spot on the north wing. And the pros and cons are the pro is when you leave, it's pretty easy to get out of there and get on the highway and go to your hotel or wherever you're going. There is a little bit of a walk when you do park in the north wing. You got to walk across this skywalk to get over to the Kentucky Exposition Center, and you have to walk back over the skywalk. But once you get into the parking lot, it's very simple to exit the parking lot versus the south wing. So that's my number one tip. If you're going to the Equip Expo, park in the north wing, not the south wing. Number 2 is wear comfortable shoes you don't mind getting dirty. So my first year I went to the Equip Expo, I wore these, they weren't Doc Martens, but they were like these dressy shoes that you'd wear out on, if you're going out on a hot date, right? They weren't tennis shoes by any stretch of the imaginations, but they weren't like necessarily like dress shoes that you'd wear with a tuxedo or a suit. They were this in between, very dressy, but somewhat comfortable, but not comfortable for Equip. So I thought I would look like $1,000,000. This is 2017. I was young and dumb, thinking of, I'm going to be all fashionable at the Equip Expo. Forget about it. You want to wear comfortable tennis shoes. Now, I will say, if you go outside, some years it's been really dusty out there, and your shoes will get, just the breeze from dust and stuff like that. And then one year it rained, man, and it was muddy out there. Like it was real muddy out there. I went out there on a Friday morning after it had rained a whole bunch on Thursday, and it was muddy. So your shoes will get dirty, dry or wet weather, with either the dust or the mud if you're going out to the 30 acres of the demo area. So with that in mind, wear comfortable shoes, and then just wear shoes that you don't mind getting dirty. Point number 3. So far I've made both those mistakes. When I used to be a rookie at the Equip Expo, I parked in the south wing and I didn't wear comfortable shoes. Now I know where to park, the north wing, and I know to wear comfortable shoes that I don't mind getting dirty. Number 3 is the tickets. My first year I went, I waited and I got there with no ticket, and I waited in this long line and I paid full price, which was $60 in 2017. Now, with inflation and all the reasonings behind them raising the prices have actually doubled to 120 bucks. So the Equip Expo ticket this year full price is 120 bucks. And I made the mistake of waiting to the last minute. So I literally had to wait in a line in the building to get in while everyone else already had their badges printed and they were walking right on in. And I paid full price. So this year, you can get your tickets ahead of time and get half off. They gave us a promo code Paul. So if you order your tickets today with the promo code Paul, Paul, you'll literally save half off. So tickets right now are on a discounted rate for, I believe they're 60 bucks. And then when you use promo code Paul, you'll get half off of that. So you get your ticket for 30 bucks, which is way better than 120 bucks. And then they'll send you your QR code thing, confirmation ahead of time. And then when you get to the building, the Kentucky Exposition Center, there's kiosks all over the place. There's even kiosks downtown at the hotels and stuff like that. So you just type in your confirmation thing into the kiosk, and then it will actually print your badge out right there, so that you don't have to make the same mistake I made, waiting in line, paying full price. Save yourself 90 bucks. Use the promo code Paul, get your tickets now. Fourth mistake I made, and again, I've made all these mistakes. So I'm saying don't do what I did, and I've course corrected and I've learned from these. I'm not doing them anymore. The other mistake I made was lodging. My first year, I kind of waited to the last minute to go. Obviously, I went without a ticket. I got my hotel like 2 days before I went, or maybe 1 day before I went, and I ended up staying at the Red Roof Inn, and it was not good. So I would get your Equip Expo tickets now with the savings, and I would get your hotel booked. Now I just booked a hotel this morning for another trip I'm going on to a different city. And that hotel, I did it online, but that hotel, when I booked my reservation, haven't even charged me anything yet. It's just a reservation. And then when I get there at the hotel, they'll probably put a hold on my card for something of incidentals. And then when I go to check out, they'll charge my card accordingly for my 3-night stay at this hotel. And it ain't a fancy hotel, and it ain't that much, but where I'm going, undisclosed location for a trip I have upcoming. But the hotels in Louisville, the prices of the hotels are higher than a regular week in Louisville. So what I mean by that is the people who own these hotels, or manage these hotels rather, they know, oh, the week of October 21st, 22nd, 23rd, that Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, there's going to be, you know, tens of thousands of rednecks in town for this lawn care event. So supply and demand says, well, the hotel's probably going to sell out anyway, so we might as well raise the price and see how much these suckers will pay, right? Because the principle of lodging and hotels is supply and demand. So if they have occupancy that's really low, the price of the hotel goes down, right? This was like what we learned in Econ 101. If you took an economics class in college, this was like, literally the first day of class. They teach supply and demand. So you have this big old hotel with all these hotel rooms, and not much is going on in Louisville, Kentucky. There's no horse race. There's no basketball game. There's no college football game. There's no Equip Expo. The price of the hotel is market rate or below because they're trying to get people to come stay in their hotel. Well, when they have the Kentucky Derby, which is in Louisville, Kentucky, I believe every spring, and when they have, Louisville Cardinals football games or basketball games or Equip Expo, the hotel management knows in advance the dates of those things, and they jack the price up. So it's crazy how much I pay for, for a room that it's almost double, honestly. So anyway, I say all that to say, you want to book your hotel as far out as you can so that you can get a good one, but you also just need to be aware for your budget that they do have higher rates on the hotels. So I do know some people that drive over the bridge and they stay over in Indiana to save a little bit of money. But you don't want to stay at the Red Roof Inn like I did my first year. There's some hotels in downtown Louisville, the Galt House, the Marriott, the Omni. I know those are three of the more common, popular ones downtown. There's the Brown Hotel down there. My producer stayed there last year. There's a cluster of hotels right on Crittenton Drive, right outside of the Kentucky Exposition Center, that I stayed at before. Not all of them, but I've stayed on that, right there by that Cracker Barrel there. There's some good ones there. Last but not least, want to encourage you. This is tip number 5, is to not miss the morning show, which is happening Thursday, October 23rd at 8 a.m. in room B103 on the Thursday of the Equip Expo. We're actually going to be doing this Green Industry podcast live in front of a live studio audience. So it's a lot more fun for me looking across the room that's, full of people and podcasting in that environment than it is me sitting in my podcast studio, aka my kitchen, on a cloudy, rainy day with no faces. I mean, I look out my window and I can see. I live in a city, so I can see across at these other skyscrapers, and the way the windows are, I can see through. So there are people that are looking at me because they can see through my window and they see I have my podcast set on. Like, who's this joker? Podcast. I don't know what they're thinking, but they're looking at me. They should be working. They're they're watching me. There's 2 different buildings. I can see in, and they can see. I can see them, and they can see me. But anyway, my point is, a lot of people are like, "Oh, I didn't realize you're going to be podcasting live like that in a big ballroom." Well, we are, and you're invited. It's completely free. Our friends at Relco, formerly known as Kohler Engines, Relco, they'll be sponsoring the podcast, and there'll be hot coffee and donuts and all that good stuff for you bright and early on October 23rd at 8 a.m. in the morning for the morning show. So, in retrospect, top 5 mistakes to avoid at Equip Expo is parking. Avoid the south wing parking and park on the north wing. Bring comfortable shoes that you don't mind getting a little dirty. Get your tickets today for half off with promo code Paul. Reserve your hotel today. And I did want to say, when I shared my experience of the hotel I booked this morning for this other trip I'm going on, not all hotels are the same. And I have Hilton Honors. I have like the Marriott Bonvoy. I have, because I travel frequently. And listen, I like sleeping in my own comfy bed. I don't like all this hotels personally. But to serve my customer and to, you know, make money in business, it calls for me to travel, so I do it. But to these hotels have points and rewards and all this stuff. So I have different hotel chains I have accounts set up with. So when I book a hotel, I'm usually going into their system with my rewards number. So I know I'm getting credited my room. You get points and stuff like that. And then after like every so many points accumulate, you can get a free room. And I do. Like sometimes I'll go and get a complete free room or 2. Like I went on one trip, it was 2 nights. The room was completely comp because I've traveled so much and my points added up. But my point is, um, there's different, like some of these hotels, if you book it like online in a certain different way, you got to pay up front. So just be careful with what you're doing with the hotel lodging. There's so many variations of the booking process, but there is a way you can get your reservation without having to pay um, immediately. Obviously, when you arrive at the hotel, you have to pay a portion for incidentals. And then when you check out of the hotel, the morning of the checkout, they usually print out a receipt of your charges, and you You look at it and like, yep, that's I, or at least I look at it. I go through line by line and like, yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. Wow, you charged me $6 for that Aquafina water. Dang. Okay, and that's why I bring my own cup now, and I go down to the gym at the hotels. They have water jugs in the gym, and I'll bring my own cup because that little bottle of water it's sitting on your table in that hotel room. That joker's 6 or 8 bucks sometimes. Because I used to be like, oh, how nice. They're so nice. It gave me a nice water here. Suckers. That's, I used to, like, yeah, you traveled all day, Mr. Jameson. You're going to be thirsty. We're going to charge you $8 for this water. Oh, man. Anyway, you're a grown up. You know how to book a hotel. So I don't need to sit here and walk you through that. And then last thing is people don't know about this live podcast. So I'm telling you, we're going to be doing it this year on Thursday, October 23rd, year 2025, in the big old ballroom B103. And you can come be a part of the Green Industry Podcast live over there. So did I cover everything? Good. All right. No golf today. Well, I might go out and practice chipping and putting this afternoon. It's kind of a cloudy, rainy day today, and the course that I play at is actually closed today. They close once a week for maintenance, the good old lawnmowers and stuff. Because if you think about a golf course, it's not necessarily good to mow super early in the morning. They'll mow the greens early in the morning, but it's not good to mow wet grass. So if they got to wait till the grass dries out to mow, and there's golfers out there, it's dangerous for the guy mowing because you could hit him with the golf ball. So they have one day a week where they do heavy maintenance on the golf course, and then the golf course is closed that day. So the practice green is open if I want to go practice chipping and putting, which I very well may do, but the actual play the course today, the mowers are cranked up and they're getting them fairways and rough and the bunkers manicured and all that fun stuff. So, all right. Well, I hope to catch you in Louisville, Kentucky. Again, if you haven't got your tickets yet, you can save half off your ticket with the promo code Paul when you're filling out at the Equip Expo website. It says promotional code, and you type in my name, PAUL, and then your price will literally go in half, which right now would go from $60 to $30. So you can get those savings. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us on today's episode, and hope to catch you on the next one.